Testing, testing. I've got a new mic set up. So I'm just going to adjust a little bit of the EQ here. Test, test, test. That's a little too much in the mids. Let's get a more highs. Test 1, 2. Still a little. Let's bring back some of the mids here. Yeah, I think that's better. How's this low? It's a little too. It's fine. I think that's a good balance. I couldn't figure out what game I wanted to do today, so we're just gonna play more Katamari. I think that's fine. That's what I have on the agenda for today, at least. Whoa! Hey there! Look at this. I've got this little arm here, and this is the mic. This is gonna be my mic for this setup, I guess, for a while. I do use this mic for my musical endeavors, but it's all right. There was like a game. Hold on, let's see. Let's check out what just came out. I really at some point I want to play EU5, but it's not really good stream. Stream content. What are some cool games that just came out? Hold on. I'm gonna post that I'm live real quick. Post on Instagram. Little picture of me with a thumbs up. Little message that says live now, and the most chopped picture of me. Nice. I was looking at the Steam store, and I think there's like one game that was like that had come out this week that I was mildly interested in playing, and that was like it was literally the Nonogram game, the new one. What's it called? Pixel Logic. Or it came out last week. And not a lot of people are playing it. I won't play it. It's all good. Sushi Cat Legacy Collection just came out. Anybody remember Sushi Cat? That old Flash game, that old peanut. Yeah, no, not a lot of games that I want to play right now just came out. So, guess what? We're gonna play Katamari. Let's boot it up. Hold on, let me get the. Oh, there it is. It's appeared. Brilliant. I will turn the game audio back up because I think it was a little quiet the last stream. Cool. Let me get my controller here. We're gonna play back where we left off. Hello? Why is my controller not connecting? Hold on. Be right back. There we go. Whoa. I'm a little loud, aren't I? I'm not supposed to be that close to the mic. Anyway, there we go. We finally got it working. Let's play some Katamari. Where we left off, we were just playing as Ban here. And we've just made it to the Jurassic period. Check it out. The main story of this game is we sailing on this time-traveling ship, and we're journeying across the ages to save the world, basically, because it was destroyed. This time we're going to roll lots of dinosaurs, though. We're going to roll lots and lots of dinosaurs. It was destroyed. We're gonna roll. Hold on. What did he say? He said, "Roar!" Oh, good heavens, Your Highness. I'm terribly sorry about that. My name is Tyrannosaurus Rex. I'm leader of these island dwellers, yet, as my comrades multiply, I forget their names and faces. Would you roll a Katamari and gather us all together? Sure, sure. I eagerly wait your reply. We're gonna roll a bunch of dinosaurs. We're gonna roll a bunch of dinosaurs here and put them all in one big ball. They're very handsome. You're gonna roll up dinosaurs today, Ben? In that case, I can't read. In that case, we expect a very big and handsome Katamari. It'll be big, I'll tell you that much. I quite like this Jurassic period that we got going here. I like the vibes. Ooh, it's like real dark and moody. It's moody here. Nothing behind us. We have made it. Jurassic period. Long necks, long neck style. Which creature is most feral? It's all ours, Ben. Let's go. Boom. Shut up. We'll roll up some of these little critters. What are those even? What are these guys? Epidexter, whatever. Epic Dexter clips on the YouTube Shorts. Anybody else getting Epic Dexter clips on their YouTube Shorts? I've never seen Dexter, but at this rate, I might be seeing the entire franchise from all the Dexter clips on my YouTube Shorts. Buddy Nova, welcome in. Katamari is the shiz. You are right about that. It's my all-time favorite game franchise of all time. You know, some fellas have a unique hyperfixation with Sonic the Hedgehog. For some, it's Pokemon. Me, I'm more of a Katamari fella. Put my mic downward at my mouth instead of at my nose, where you can hear my heavy diabetic breathing. Well, pre-diabetic, actually. Cool. We got a little lay of the land. We can cross into the larger land of the dinosaurs here. Joe Fish, we are so back. We are so back, for sure. As you can see, I've got this upgrade. I've got a microphone set up now. Whoa, there's a little shader action behind me that I'm not so sure what the deal is with that. Good old magnet here. I do really love this magnet feature. I'm not a fan of all the freebies. I think the time stop one doesn't really make sense in this new iteration. Looking good. Is this an SM58? Yes, this is an SM58. Specifically the SM58 with the on and off switch. I think it's good a lot as a personal mic. I would never give this to I would never like place this in a venue, because that's only asking for people to complain and be like, "Oh, my mic's not working." Well, is it on? That's only asking for that to happen. So, but if you're a person, you know, if this is as a personal mic, I think it's really great, especially if I want to be able to mute myself. You know. This is I would call this my personal mic, the ones that I gig with. I mean, that the SM58 is basically just the vocal version of the 57, really. The 57, of course, doesn't have this circular, spherical windscreen that is so iconic about the 58. The on and off switch does come in handy. You are right. You're right about that. Especially in a context like this, where if I simply must mute, but I don't feel like going into OBS to mute that way, it's better to just mute this way on the hardware itself. I don't know about better, but I'm just speaking here. It's more convenient. I will say it's more convenient. I'm doing not so great here. I'm kind of like bumping all around all over the place. I think the thing that a lot of folks, when they're playing Katamari for the first time, or if they're not like a veteran of the franchise, that they don't understand is, you know, to really play this game well, you have to like create routes and stuff. This game like really rewards, you know, sticking to the paths, especially if there's items that lay out like a route already. Like, you should follow them because they generally will point you somewhere. It's a little harder when it's just organic life all around. I made 2 puns in accident for sure, and comes in handy. Yeah, comes in handy. Does for sure. And you didn't even know this, but that's an extra pun on that comes in handy, because the interface that I'm using here is the Zoom H6, which of course, as we know, they have built the handy recorder, right? You couldn't have possibly known that, but it was serendipitous nonetheless. These cavemen are going crazy. Oh, there's Beyond. It's a cool cousin. Another cool cousin gotten. I like to think I'm the cool cousin. Just kidding. I'm the lame one. Nah, that's not true. I'm not. There's no lame cousin in my family. But if there had to be one, yeah, it would be me. So I'm the only one that didn't get a real job. I'm the only one that decided, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna see if I can make a living doing basically nothing. And you know what? It's not working. So maybe I should get a real job at some point. Yes, the Zoom H6 is really... I still use it all the time, honestly. I did not anticipate this at all, but I have been asked before to run sound for like film stuff, and I was thinking about like I couldn't do it at the time because I just didn't have the setup. I don't have like a boom mic or anything, or a boom arm for a film set kind of microphone, like a shotgun or something or other. But if I did take that, or if I did take more future gigs, I got brain jack because you said Riz in your message, and I almost said giz. If I did, I would buy a boom arm, I would buy a mic, and I would hook them all up to an H6, my H6. Like I'd hook it onto like my jeans or whatever with a carabiner and let it like just hang on my leg. So that'd be cool. I feel like if I did want to ever go down that route and invest in like a boom arm like that, that might be pretty cool. But alas. I feel like that'd be a potential source of freelance work, but I don't feel like it at this point. Like, I just want to make music. Chicken Eater, welcome in. Salutations to you as well, sir. I saw your announcement that you would begin streaming as well. I'm excited to see that. The H6 came out around 2010. I believe that. I believe that is true. It's over. I can't fit. I believe that's true, especially when you just the way that the technology feels when you handle it. It's very old. Not I wouldn't say old. It still works. Obviously, it works quite well, but like it's got some quirks that date it for sure. And you know, it's a perfectly serviceable audio interface still. It uses, you know, mini USB, but it doesn't look, the latency doesn't look too bad. Mini USB, but it doesn't look, the latency doesn't look too bad. Mini USB, which makes me think I should check it right now. Hold on 1 second. Test 1 2. Oh, it's not bad at all. For whatever reason, the preview was a little delayed, and it makes everything look delayed, but it looked good actually. The latency, it's good. The sync is good. Yes. I am finished. Yeah, I was stuck, but I unstuck myself. Because I am a Katamari master. I didn't do very good on this level because I just kind of walked around or rolled around. 71%. A is fine. T-Rex head? Nah, I'll stick with my cowboy hat. Yeehaw, sir. I think at some point, on stream, I definitely want to 100% this game for sure. Because there's a lot of, this game is very replayable. Ooh, a little cutscene here. Adventures of the Queen, Jurassic Period. I like that the little map on the ground has the prints on it. That's pretty neat. They're in the forest. Uh-oh, there's a T-Rex. You guys got to watch out. Don't move. You see that? Oh, look at that. Huey's in the grass. Kinoko's behind the tree. Jungle's blending in. Beyond is looking like a banana. Marnie is up in the lemons. Shy is on the tree. I forget who's on the right. I wasn't looking. Uh-oh. Don't move. The T-Rex is onto you. Ah! I told him not to move. It's over. So unless what's happening? This T-Rex is running away from what? Oh my gosh, it's a Katamari. Whoa. And the queen goes wild. What a wholesome cutscene. And we got a new level unlocked. There's a man in a dinosaur costume there. Oh, we got all the levels unlocked. We got the Katamari ball stage unlocked too. Alright, let's see. Who's who are these guys? Only 50 and as large as possible. This is the as large as possible. Yeah, it's as large as possible underwater. Who are these guys? Oh, this is the roll up 50. I'm not gonna do the roll up 50 right now. I am gonna do the this one here. And we got a banger song for this level too. If you guys were tuned into the last stream, like I was like this song is so good. I think this has got to be the song that we're gonna be listening to on this level. It's probably my favorite track on the whole Once Upon a Katamari soundtrack. I'm gonna set my compressor a little bit just to make sure my voice is more evened out. Real nice. And then of course we have the infamous water level for hold on, I gotta turn off the hint guide because I don't need that. You guys probably didn't see it, but it's where behind my own camera is just giving me like the controls. Which is honestly proves to me that this is probably the best place to leave my camera on the screen because no information really is on there. The music in this game is so strange, thought-provoking, and feel good. It is very hard. It is so hard to explain. Yes, you are right. You are right. And you know, I think that's true not only for this game, but for the whole Katamari franchise. I mean, to be honest, that's kind of like, if it were not for me playing the first Katamari Damacy on PS2, I feel like my relationship with music would be very, very different. Specifically, like Japanese music. I think the first game is what really exposed me to first Japanese culture and Japanese music. So you have Katamari to thank for my weeb adjacency, but I like hearing the Shibuya K stuff and hearing what like J-pop kind of sounds like, hearing like sort of Japanese tendencies and like melodic construction and chord progressions when making Western music. It really like left a huge impact on me because like I still think about, you know, whenever I'm composing, whenever I'm arranging, I still have those mindsets very much so that have that like Japanese kind of flavor. Like even when I do the yacht rock stuff, like there's always a tinge of me, my city pop phase of the session, as we all have had, right? Praise be to Tatsuro Yamashita and Mario Takeuchi and Miki Matsubahara and Junko Ohashi and Makoto Matsushita and Masayoshi Takanaka and so on and so forth, right? I mean, I wouldn't have gotten into that stuff if I hadn't heard Katamari music yet, you know? Yes, that Japanese city pop stuff is just. There's a reason it went viral. I'll say that much. There's a very good reason it went viral. 30, 40 years after it was last relevant. Lore-wise, how do the Katamari stick together? I'm gonna be honest. They never explain why the Katamari is a sticky ball. They only explain like why you have to do it, but they never get into the mechanics of how physics-wise it actually works. My theory is that it's just magic, simply because like the characters that you play as are the cousins. You're part of the royal family of this universe, right? Your father is basically God, and you are the son of God, or one of many of his cousins, right? And so I would posit that it's probably just pure, like, supernatural, like, ability, like something that is cannot maybe be fully explained by the laws of the universe. You heard Cassiopeia first, and it took off from there. Yeah, I mean, that was a lot of folks for the first time. You're browsing YouTube in, I don't know, 2015, 2016, and then you see a very interesting, what do you call it? A very interesting, let's say, thumbnail. Out of the corner of your eye, it's a jar of what appears to be green jam, and it's an album called Mint Jams, and you're like, Mint Jams, huh? I wonder what that could be. You play it, and you're great. You hear what's the name of that song? Take Me. It goes boom, boom, boom. It's the instant groove, and you're like, okay, what in the world is this? And you go on a journey from there. That's at least what happened to me. I definitely was also there when Cassiopeia was making waves on YouTube. And that's a top all-time record, I gotta say. The Mint Jams Cassiopeia. It's top all-time. It's peak. It's peak, I'm afraid. Indeed, it is peak, I'm afraid. And then that takes you... It's either Cassiopeia that is the one that first gets you, or Plastic Love. And I think that whichever one of those is what got you into that is indicative of like when you started getting this city pop, because Maria Takeuchi was probably the first ones. Or I don't know. I don't even really. I'm just talking like from what I remember, because I remember seeing Maria Takeuchi, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. And then Cassiopeia coming around, and I'm like, oh, this is even cooler. It's like I really was interested in the jazzy stuff. They're pretty tight. Midnight Rendezvous is a great first introduction to Cassiopeia. That's such a good tune, especially the Mint Jams version. I think that one is cooler. That version is cooler than the original from the self-titled in 1979, which is more it's more bare bones in the first version, because it doesn't have that unison line of the and it goes into the keyboard solo on the Mint Jams version, where there's different changes on there that don't exist in the very original. In the original, the keyboard solo was just over the main melody is like changes. Which is what the guitar solo's over in both versions. So it's a more robust composition on the Mint James versions for sure. Yeah, plastic glove covers were everywhere, and they still are everywhere. Like, they didn't really go away. I think they just like slowed down, but you still see a good couple folks on Instagram finding this stuff and being like, "Oh my gosh, I've never seen this before." And to those folks, I say welcome. You're in for a like what you hear. Hold on to your headphones. You're gonna love what comes next. I was trying to figure out how to construct that bit on the fly. I didn't pre-plan it. Oh, we got Fumin. I love Fumin. Fumin's one of my favorite cousins in the game. Secondly, how does the guy roll the Katamari? My guy's name, he's the donut fella. His name is Ban Ban. And they roll the Katamari presumably because they are insanely strong. Although that doesn't fully explain it. They are insanely strong, but they are also, since they are also cosmic spiritual beings, I assume that they have superhuman strength, supernatural strength. Get more crowns. Yes, dude. We gotta get the crowns. We always gotta get the crowns. I'll help you get big. As large as possible, too. This is a great stream game, for sure. The game is straightforward, and you can concentrate on chat, whatever else. I can multitask easily. Right. I mean, for some people, like especially like people who aren't unfamiliar largely, it may be a little tough, but I can autopilot, like, you know, Katamari pretty easily. And I agree with you that that's like that's why I don't really like watching. I'm not the type of person who watches streams that are like gaming oriented. I was saying at the beginning of the stream that like I really am interested to play Europa Universalis 5, but that doesn't exactly seem like it would be great or conducive to an environment where I can talk to chat, you know what I mean? Like it's an environment where I'm just like figuring out how to manage my economy for fun, you know? And no hate to people who do stream Europa Universalis 5. To those people I say I salute. You're heroes. But I am definitely someone who likes listening to a stream or watching a stream just for the banter and not for like, oh, I'm taking long. I'm watching long. They're planning B. You know, I don't really want that. I want to chop it up. You know, this is an as large as possible stage, so we'll just focus on getting big on this one, which is very mindless. As per our conversation. Now, if I was playing any of the challenges, like this game does have a cowbear stage. This game does have a multitude of challenges that may require more brain power. Congrats on 10K subs. First of all, thank you, but is that real? Did I actually get 10K? Did I actually hit 10K? Oh yeah, I'm gonna check. Did I actually hit 10K, like for real? Almost, but thank you. Thank you. I've been working hard on this channel because two years ago, I would say, I started to attempt to take YouTube seriously. If you look back at my channel and my older videos, I have it'll be 10 in no time for sure. I sure hope so. Rich, welcome in. Thank you for giving you stuff to look forward to on Fridays. Of course, of course. I'm trying to like really be consistent with this schedule of like Monday, Tuesday, Friday. It is first of all the stuff that works for me, and to Buddy's point, like I definitely think that just being consistent will probably help with you know, helping to grow the channel. I'm definitely gonna make clips and stuff from these streams too, but yeah, I started this channel like 2-ish years ago. As part of like a larger initiative to like try to get my online content game on point with my business partner at the time, and yeah, I started by making just content like about whatever I was feeling, like long form stuff. If you go back in my channel, there's like 10+ minute videos of like process videos behind the scenes, like a tier list of like ranking all the songs, just me playing around with different formats, and you know, that got a lot of traction. And then I did the shorts. The brain rot stuff is of course what brought a lot of people to my channel. The brain rot stuff, and then like the New Jersey songs were a little bit more well received over on Instagram and TikTok rather than on YouTube, but nonetheless, like those are still factors that contributed to the growth. So right now I'm trying to just figure out like, okay, how do I keep that going? What do people want to see? What are people interested in? And of course, like while I keep all that in mind, I have to ask myself, like, what do I actually want to do? Which is why, like, I've kind of stopped, you know, doing videos that are like, here's me breaking down this particular song from whatever's popular right now, because it's cool, and I did like doing that. And then at a certain point, I just kind of got a little tired of it. I'm like, I kind of don't want to know what's going on right now. And so like channels that do that well, I think they've got a system for sure that enables them to do it without, you know, burning out so much and fatiguing. But I don't know, I kind of don't care enough to want to keep doing that kind of stuff. So I mean, I'll still do it, of course. I don't, and that's kind of why I wanted to create this format of Monday being where I work on music, Tuesday being just hanging out, talking, and chopping it up, and Friday being games, is because on those Tuesdays, like where I am just chopping it up, I kind of, if there is a new song, I want to use that as a springboard to be able to like react to something, break it down, and then later on make a video about it. So you know, the streaming thing is really a part of this greater pipeline to just make my life easier for everything, to have more things to watch for people, more things for people to watch, more content to draw from when I am making, like, when I do decide to like eventually make more long form content. Chris Luna with the balls, yes, we love balls here. This is a balls friendly zone. We love and appreciate balls very much here. The 6-7 meme tribute song and video you posted today is pretty amazing. Love that late 90s, early 2000s look of the video and lens flare, sweet music production, and nice 6-7 Easter eggs. Yes, exactly. The entire song is built around like the 6th and 7th frets of a bass guitar, and the chords are the 6 minor chord and the flat 7 major chord in Mixolydian. And you just pointed it out, the breakdown after the solo is bars of 6 and 7. Yes, exactly. So really, it's more of a, it's less reference. It is for sure referencing the meme, but its construction is primarily just based on the prompt of how do you turn the numbers 6 and 7 into a song, really. And so I'm glad you appreciate that. I'm glad you caught that. Guitar solo is tight. Appreciate that. Yeah, I shot that on an old Panasonic VHS camera, VHS-C actually camera that I had thrifted from Goodwill, and it turns out good. And I've been using that camera actually on a lot of my stuff because I think it definitely has a little bit of that look that I'm looking for. Because I really kind of don't like the super intentional, super well produced kind of look for most things. Get an S, yes, S. Yeah, so I'm hoping that the stream stuff is just will be a good cog in that machine that I'm trying to create. We got a present. I guess we didn't get the cousin for this stage, which since I wasn't paying attention. Who is on this stage? I'm trying to remember. I don't know this game that well. I've only played through it like one time fully. Line of Raging Storm. Who is this? What is this? Oh, he's watching a theater play of some kind. He's got his phone in his pocket. It's lighting up. Oh, he's rocking out. I used to be able to do that. I used to have very, very long hair. Which I have decided to take care of. Speaking of, I gotta get a haircut soon. My hair is getting kind of long. Oh, he looks amazing. He looks amazing. If I ever find a high 8 in my thrifting journeys, grab it. All you use to shoot on in your local access cable days. A high 8 would be fantastic if I could find like a Sony camcorder for sure. Damn, high 8. That takes me back. I think my parents used to have one of those. The handy cam, yeah, exactly. If I see one, definitely I'll have to pick it up. I've been really getting into cameras. You might be able to see it in the camera. I don't feel like changing my prop. You might be able to see it in the camera, but there's like a case for like a larger, like more over the shoulder. Like it's also a Panasonic that records straight to VHS tape, but the belt on the tape mechanism is like worn out or something, or like maybe the rubber must have disintegrated or something, so like it won't spin up and then it automatically turns itself off because it's broken. So I've got to get that fixed if I want to play that. I can now play Katamari Ball online. Look at that. Nostalgia is what's popular right now, especially yeah, in the media. And that's where I'll say I like nostalgia that feels more authentic. I don't like manufactured nostalgia that's like oh, remember that? I think that the lowest form of media is like things that lowest form of media hinges on like, oh, remember that, without adding anything to it. I think that like if you are gonna do that, you have to like add some kind of contribution. You have to add some kind of twist, add some kind of spin, without like just being like, oh, remember the good old days. Let's do that again. You gotta give it honor if you are gonna do that, you know. And I think that there's no honor in just like being like, remember the cavemen, you know. Life is about making new memories. This is so deep. Nah, I don't know. With the whole like, in my style of music is very much like, you can tell it's very old, but and is trying to obviously capture like a certain time period. But where is this guy? Lots of food. You can tell it's like I'm trying to capture like something in the past, but I'm not like just covering that music, you know. I'm trying to create new things in the style. I'm trying to incorporate stuff that maybe wasn't back then, that are like a reflection of like what I really like. So like the proggy stuff and the jazz fusiony stuff more. So I don't know. There's a fine line there. There's a fine line for sure between like, is this derivative or is this like actually advancing some kind of tradition, right? We're talking to the royal family here, the noble youngster. Yes, you get a Steely Dan peg vibe from the Six Seven. Exactly. I probably wasn't trying to like think of like peg specifically, but Steely Dan is like my big, that's my big influence these days. I would say like Steely Dan is really. I've learned a lot from studying how they perform their music, and a lot. My piano playing has gotten so much better because, like, just learning all the Steely Dan stuff teaches me a lot about chord voicings and like shapes on the piano that I never knew before. Right? I just knew like the triads, but like learning all the Steely Dan stuff, like, there's like crazy shit. Shapes. I keep mentioning Steely Dan, but who is this individual, may I ask? Yes. Steely Dan. I know you don't know who they are, but they're a band. Steely Dan is two guys plus like a bunch of like other hired musicians. Steely Dan. Chicken Eater, I don't know if you would like their music or even like fully be into them, but they are my favorite band. And I could describe them as like, they're like, I wouldn't call them classic rock, but they're like from the 70s, right? And they were just doing some advanced stuff for the time. For like in rock music, right, or rock or pop music. So when you listen to them today, they still sound so very fresh because they don't sound like anything that their contemporaries sounded like. They might have sounded a little bit more in line with what was happening in like jazz fusion, or like that world, but yeah. Steely Dan is just like my North Star for everything that I do, because they really balance like what do you call it? They balance the pop sensibility, so like they still write a real good songs, like this, like even if you don't thinking too hard about the theory, like they're good songs just on their own. They're groovy and they feel great to listen to, but you can't help but notice that the air of like a sophistication that it has, so I don't know if that interests you at all, Chicken Eater. Like, please check Steely Dan out. Listen to the album called Asia, AJA. That's, I think, a great starting point for most people. And listen to the album. Don't just listen to the individual songs. Like, sit through the record, That's where I would start with when it comes to... If somebody had to ask me, like, you talk a lot about Steely Dan. I want to get into Steely Dan. What are they about? What album should I start with? I would say Asia is the one to start with. Speaking of Asia, we're listening to some Japanese traditional music right now. This is a great song. This is a really great addition to the soundtrack with a little bit of this like Japanese traditional singing, a little enka, little of the modern J-pop vibe, that perfect thing, to your point, buddy, of like bridging, nostalgia from every generation, which is what this game really is about. It's a full circle moment if you think about it. Did I ever get into Deep Forest? I don't know what that is. Please explain. I don't know what Deep Forest is. I've not heard of it. Oh, this kabuki lady with the the sword and the tiger's coming in. Ooh, we can go upstairs now. We can climb up this bamboo ladder. Oh, something begun? Must roll up the armor. I see. Let's get these steaming baskets. Yeah, I got the crown off his head. Deep Force is an electronic band in the early 90s. What are their contemporaries? Like, what would you say they sound like? Like, you say electronic, are they like a Aphex Twin IDM thing, or is it more like a techno Chicago house? You know, like what scene are they a part of? You miss Newgrounds Flash games, man? Yeah. Oh yeah. I do too. Which reminds me, at some point, if I wasn't gonna play Katamari today, I might have played like Papa's Pizzeria. Either that or like there used to be this old game. I forget what website it was on. Maybe it wasn't on Newgrounds, but it was probably on like Addicting Games or something, or Congregate. Sushi Cat. They recently released like I don't know, a remake, or yeah, some kind of like modern version of like all the Sushi Cat games and all the original stages. And Sushi Cat was something I did play like for a little bit, you know, back in the day. Which seems interesting, but I am Gen Z after all, so my Flash game memories are very Papa's Pizzeria, Bloons Tower Defense. I should play Bloons Tower Defense 6 on stream too, because I really like Bloons Tower Defense. And I will not start a new save on that one. I will start from where I am, because starting BTD 6 rough from the beginning is so rough. Impossible Quiz, yeah. Impossible Quiz that's classic. Deep Forest has great music. It's like Enigma mixed with Enya. So it's like it's kind of like a new age thing, but like weirder than new age, right? As you say, Enigma and Enya. And when I think of Enigma, I think of that one song that's like, I think it's called Return to Innocence. That's the only Enigma that I know. Like that one. And Enya has like Orinoco Flow and Only Time. Very like a spirit. There's a spiritualness about it. I should not be up here. What am I doing? The Impossible Quiz. I think I've never beaten that one, actually. Now that I think about it, I've never beaten the Impossible Quiz. I've like gotten up to the wait, who's the cousin in this level? I missed it. Anyway, I know who the cousin is. The level is. It's Ryu, and Ryu's on the wall. That's why I missed it. But whatever. The math section is brutal. You're not wrong about that. The math section is brutal. I'm terrible at math, I gotta say. Like, I would not do a very good job. I remember there's like a question that you have to answer with a square root on the Impossible Quiz. Like, my brain barely remembers that. Yeah, that's crazy. I don't think I would ever play Impossible Quiz on stream. I might, the old, move your mouse from this corner to the other corner, but like you can't cross the middle, and as a kid you're like, how do you do that? And then you like somebody else in your class, blows your mind. They say you have to actually go around the game. And you're like, oh, why didn't I think of that? 5x5. Yo, let me get a 5x5. No, that's not. I just confused two different things. Welcome to In and Out. Yeah, can I get a 5x5? It's like 9 tiles of equations that you have to arrange in numerical order. I don't even remember. I never got that far. I'll tell you that much. I gave up after that. Oh, we're sailing. Arr! Are you sailing on the seas? Shivering in me timbers. I gotta do that as a video. Pirate Steely Dan. It sucks. I believe that. You don't have to convince me how I believe that it sucks. I believe that for sure. It's time to Yosoro. If I'm interested, Deep Forest live in Japan, music detected. Deep Forest, huh? I'll check them out. I'll check them out. You Pirate Dan. Have you guys been seeing those like pirate memes? People like make pirate versions of whatever, like current memes. Well, after I saw that, I was writing a little bit in my notes. What that would look like. Oh yeah. Are you plundering the seas? Stowing away, ye lads. Are you shivering in your timbers? Have you had enough of rum? That's all I got, really. I think if I was gonna do Pirate Steely Dan, I would only do that much, because I think that the rest would be... It would get old after that one. There's a Steely Dan song called My Rival, where he literally says, sure, he's a Jolly Roger, until he answers for his crimes. But he literally says Jolly Roger in that one. I'm like, yes, dude. Although no one knows that song unless you are like me and have listened to the Gaucho like 50 times. It's begging for it, you know. Are you walking the old plank? Yes, 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 dude. Exactly. You're picking up what I'm putting down. This is a pro Steely Dan household. We all love Steely Dan here, don't we, folks? Steely Dan. I'm more of a campfire of a thrill guy. I can't do it. I can't do that voice without like putting on an accent that he doesn't have. Steely Dan. I love Steely Dan. I love Steely Dan. I like reeling in the years. But when they get to Asia, that's a little too jazzy for me, a little too out there. I'm more of a fool to do your dirty work. There's two. Oh yeah, I forgot this level there's a branching path in this level. We're not gonna roll up the octopus. At least not yet. There's no reason to right now. Pirate Steely Dan. What a novel idea. My boy Nick is down here. He's just eating some Iberico ham with the landlubbers. No, he's not a landlubber. He's a lad. Did I roll up the octopus? No, I didn't. I did not roll up the octopus. This scene only happens if you don't roll up the octopus. I actually really quite like the pirate levels in this one. I don't think they're... I think it's it's very fitting for a game like this. Like, you gotta have a pirate section. Babylon Sisters is probably your favorite off of Gaucho. You like singing the "You Gotta Shake It Baby" outro, but it's such a fun song. You gotta love that. You gotta love that Purdy shuffle. You got to shake it, baby. You got to shake it, baby. You got to shake it. Yes, you know what it's all about. Here come those Santa winds again. Bad news. Whatever he says. Drive west on Sunset to the sea. Turn that jungle music down just until we're out of town. This is no one night stand, it's a real occasion. Close your eyes and you'll be there. It's everything they say. The end of a perfect day. Distant lights from across the bay. Babylon sister. Yes, dude. I gotta listen to Gaucho later because it's just so freaking good. Gaucho is so freaking good. My Donald Fagen timbre is highly accurate. Thank you. I've been working on it. That was one reason that like I had achieved some level of virality on Instagram, which was like helped me break through and reach a much larger audience for the first time. Was that reel I made of reeling in the years, and people had said like, you kind of sound like Donald Fagen, and some people thought it was AI or whatever, which was like, oh, I must have like some kind of vocal timbral similarity, like by default. So I just gotta like practice it more. Which I am very proud of, and that's the whole reason that I kind of like set sail, no pun intended, on the whole Steely Dan brain rot thing, because who else would do it, you know? And I'd rather someone do it without AI if I already sound pretty kind of like him. Yeah, being called AI, I definitely took it as a compliment, because I was like, oh, if they think it's AI, that must mean I'm getting pretty close. I like to practice it a lot, because I mean, Donald Fagen's voice, if you listen to a lot of like Steely Dan covers like on YouTube, Donald Fagen's voice is kind of hard to replicate, and people end up like singing better than him, quote unquote, like quote unquote better. Like, I think he's a great singer, and I just really like his voice. But some people would not agree, and then they try to sing a lot of Steely Dan songs with like this more cleaner affectation, which is fine. I think that's totally fine if that's just the way that you sing. But you know, I definitely have much more of a nasally voice than the average person, I would say. And figure let's take advantage of that. You know, if I'm gonna sound kind of Bob Dylan-esque with the whole nasaliness, I'll lean into the Don Fagen thing. And it's just serendipitous that like Donald Fagen happens to be one of my favorite composers. For real, if you any of the original stuff that I'm putting out, like if you listen to it, or not even the original stuff, like anything where I'm like rearranging something, listen for the chords that I choose on the keys and stuff. Like I'm really trying to learn his vocabulary as a keyboardist, you know. So when you study a bunch of the songs, you start to see that like, oh wow, he really only grabs like the same couple shapes. Right. I mean, they're complicated for sure, but they're largely from a similar like pool. Like he plays our 13 chord in a very specific way, and that's like his voicing. You know what I mean? And then of course the mu chords, right? But like his particular voicing of a mu major 7, like a G mu major 7 is like a G in the left hand, and then use your thumb to play A and the B, use another finger to play the D, and then like your pinky to play the F sharp. Uh, like that's Steely Dan to the core. That one chord, you know. And I use it all the time. I like how in my brain rot vids I pushed the lead vocals to the front, made them dry and edgy for the memes. Was that intentional? And what inspired me? Uh, I'm not sure if I intentionally made the lead vocals like the center, but I think as a well, I tried to like at least copy a little bit of like how they're mixed in the original, but in terms of volume, I definitely put them front and center just because like that's what people hear, you know. That's the point. I'm not really that interested in hearing the instrumental. I'm interested in hearing like the fact that I changed the words like that really interestingly, you know. Yeah, I think that's really all I have to say on that. I think, if that's what you mean, like in terms of the timbre, but I mean the whole like point of it really is like I like that it annoys. It either annoys millennials who kind of resent Gen Z for being annoying, which I think is funny, but it also like Gen Xers have like largely taken to it as like oh wow, this is like they see it more as like a bridging the gap kind of thing, and they find it as funny as I do. Maybe not in the same way. Gen Xers are like, you know, less, you're besmirching the name of Steely Dan. They're less like that and more, this is fantastic. I love to show this to my kids. And their kids are like, Mom, stop. Dad, stop. Like, that's funny to me. I think that is very funny. So Gen Xers, like, they get my stuff, you know. Usually the older folks tend to perceive it that way of like, you know, I'm trying to show the young kids the cool music, you know. And that's a part of it as well. It's like I don't want this music to die with those guys. I want to bring them forward because I think they belong in the future. They're so well written, you know. Trying to think what else is like why. Yeah, and like people who are like who treat it like a sacred cow. It's like, yeah, listen, I like the Eagles or whatever. I don't know who else have I done. I like Toto. Of course I like Toto. You know. Is it I think it's funny to just like be like, hey, what if I did this to it? And people can get mad or whatever, but they're missing the point. Like, I'm not besmirching it at all. Like, I do this with so much honor, so much respect, to the point where I would go to such length to recreate the instrumental. At least in the most recent Steely Dan stuff. Like, I've endeavored to put a lot of effort into it, rather than it being like a lazy thing, because it never was a lazy thing, you know. In the future, what would I like to be known for? It's not up to me to decide. But if I had to wish, I just want to be known as somebody who made cool stuff. What kind of stuff? I don't know. Whatever I feel like making, you know. I like making things. It doesn't have to be music. It doesn't have to be videos. It doesn't have to be anything tangible, really. I just like making. I like creating. It just so happens that like my expertise is music. So if people remember me fondly for making cool music, That's awesome. But uh, I would much rather I'd be known for like making cool stuff in general. Because I feel that I'm not like as much of a one trick pony as some other folks might be. Like I really enjoy so many different things, you know. Obviously, like I'm gaming right now and I do music. Like gaming and music seem to be like the biggest things that I'm trying to do right now, but I don't know, maybe at some point I want to make a short film. Maybe at some point I'm going to become a voice actor. You know, I have so many like ambitions and so many desires that like I don't know. It seems a little difficult to be like what exactly do you want to be? Well, yeah, I know you're not asking exactly. I think that's I can really only give a general answer to that question because there's so many different things that I want to do. And I don't really do it for the recognition. I do it mainly because like I think it's cool, and I think it's, as an artist, your primary responsibility should be to make cool things and show the world that you made cool things. Whatever cool means to you, you know. And I'm very, very on that hill of like art. Being an artistic person is important, whether that's your job or not. You know. I think it makes you think about the world in a different way than non-artists, you know. And I think that kind of viewpoint is very important to have for the benefit of society. You are making cool stuff. People seem to be afraid to say this to one another, but it means a lot. I'm proud of you. Thank you so much. Thank you. I really appreciate you saying that. Because, you know, part of why I like wanted to, you know, stream more is, besides like it being part of like that larger content goal, it's that like you know, human beings in general are very smart creatures, but at the same time very dumb creatures, and the things which drive us, we can think a lot about, you know, very deep things, but at the end of the day, the things that motivate us can be as simple as very base level motivations, whether it's money or food or you know, career. For me, like I'm really afraid of this idea that I'm gonna be left behind, quote unquote, and that's very irrational. That's more of that's something I have to talk about with a therapist, you know. But I'm trying to like undo that right now by just being like, hey, you know, just do whatever you want, and try to construct it in such a way that people come for you, and not just for what you do. Because I don't believe that's the true essence of a person is what they do. I don't think it's fair to put that on somebody and be like, well, you're the guy who does this, so that's all you do. I don't think that's fair, and not just like at an artist level, but on a person-to-person level. Like in my relationships with other human beings, you know, I'm not going to be like, well, you do this one thing and that's all you do. Like, that's not fair to them as people, because there's a lot more than that, you know. And I want to make space for that. Oh, Natsuo. Yeah, all that to say, part of like this endeavor of like me streaming regularly is in part due to me trying to like figure out what I want to do in my life, really. But also, like, I think it is much closer to what I think might be my life, the life that I want. You know, I think this kind of thing is much closer to that, so figured I'd start it now. You know, just start doing it, and the things I need will follow. You know, I'm in a position, thankfully, where I can do that. Some people can't do that. Some people don't have the ability or the privilege to be able to do that. But I'm happy that I do, and I kind of want to make the most of it. You know, if you have privilege, you got to use it. You know, otherwise the whole world suffers for it. You know, and I'm trying to use it for better. You know. What is the human's reaction to them being on the Katamari? In lore-wise, I think it's hinted that it's apparently one of the most thrilling and pleasurable feelings canonically in the world. So they may be screaming, but I guess lore says they're screaming in enjoyment or whatever. I don't know. It's very true. Humans are much more than what they create. I think we all have the same goal. Yeah. Happiness and fulfillment. Many just seeking freedom without limits and labels. Yeah. And I just want to... Let's just make stuff, you know? The world is better when people make cool stuff and show it. And, you know, you don't deserve to suffer just because you want to do that. So we gotta not be so discouraging to people who want to do that, who want to make cool stuff. And I say we, not to implicate any particular people or group of people that are here, but to I'm referring to society really as a whole. And just playing games on a Friday is a nice change of pace for everything, all things considered, right? Oh, we built a ship. Wow, we were loading all that wood. We built a ship. Fantastic. We got a nest. There's that too. What a stupendous ship. I got my little tank top over there. Weeds Planet. Ree! Remember that? The SS Princess fired up. Oh, we're about to set sail. Discouraging art is criminal. Yes, yes. I really, really don't like to do that. Now, what I will say is, don't discourage art, but make sure you encourage extra the good one, the good art. You know, don't I wouldn't say like if an aspiring artist is like they're aspiring, they're trying to make something good, offer, and it's not like that great. You have to offer constructive criticism. You know, you can't just be like, well, that's bad. You got to be like, this is bad because. Shake it, Babylon Sisters. Yes, you still have Babylon Sisters in your head. Exactly, I still do. Here come those Santa Ana winds again. Oh, I gotta roll the philosophers. I was like walking around. What's happening? You got the shake it, baby. You got the shake it, baby. You got the shake it. I think all things considered, I have a pretty nuanced take on art criticism and why it's important. You know, Like, don't discourage artists, but at the same time, like, our goal is to improve. And I think that art that simply exists as, you know, this is just how I express myself. This is just how I want to, you know, interface with the world and express how I feel. That's fine. That's art in practice, but I don't think it's something worthy to be sold or worthy to be just give to. It's worth, you know. Like, we get into like economics and stuff, and I think that's just like bad art absolutely holds a place, absolutely, because if we didn't have bad art, we wouldn't know what to get better. You know what I mean? We need to lift each other up at the end of the day. You know, we need to say, hey, I love what you're doing. Maybe try this next time, right? You know, because lyricism can't just be like, I'm happy. This is how I feel. I'm happy. My love for you is real. And that, you're right, bad and good is subjective. But I think, and this is like, I'm trying to formulate this in a way that is like, how do I best articulate this? Bad and good is subjective, but there is I think you can like something that's bad and you can hate something that's good. And I think this is like sort of the paradigm that I've been trying to play with, like, for the better part of my life. Is like, it's almost like a two-axis thing where, like, you can create a likable work that is not necessarily good, quote unquote. And what does good mean? I'd have to, you know, think on more like, what does good really mean? But, you know, you can also really dislike something that consensus agrees is like, it's okay. I think that ultimately the commonalities that all bad art to me has is that it lacks perceived effort that I know there could have been more effort put into it. But that does not necessarily mean that, like, more effort equals good art. Of course, that does not mean that at all. I just want to see creators try, right? And if there was no indication that there's much trying, and that, you know, much of the creation of the art was the result of too many cooks in the kitchen and choice by committee, like, you know, I think a lot of the movie industry has ended up this way. The movie industry is like the biggest example. I don't really see it as bad in the music industry, but in the movie industry, it has kind of become a little, you know, not to my liking, let's say. And, you know, people do make there is this, like, concept of, like, high art versus low art, but I don't think that necessarily is lines up with the concept of bad and good. You know, bad and good, you're right, is subjective. But their art can be bad if the I'm kind of rambling here, but basically the point I'm getting at is, like, one example of bad art that I think is, like, stuff like things which are clearly hinting at tradition and source material that kind of doesn't really honor it, if that makes sense. Like, there's this video of this, like, there's an old video of this guy who's like, I'm an aspiring rapper. It's from the 80s. It's like, I'm a rapper, and it's like an old VHS. It's like, I'm a rapper, and, you know, in the rap industry, there's not really anybody talking about, like, what it's like to be an average white Midwestern guy. And you listen to the video, I'm stuck already. If you listen to the video and his rap, he's like rapping. I mean, obviously, like he knows what rap is. He knows like the basics of it. But what he's rapping about is like there's nothing. You know what I mean? Like, what are you rapping about? You're rapping about you have your lifestyle, which is devoid of tension. It's devoid of like anything. The most tension that's in your life is like the woman at the drive-through Taco Bell was rude to me, or something in that nature. And I think that some people might like it. That's fine. But I think that the liking something is different than it being good or bad. You know, the consensus decides. You know, ultimately that is what it is. It's consensus that whether something is good or bad. I mean, that's why like things that Metacritic scores. I don't think that should hold necessarily. Like, again, I don't think that should be a deciding factor in whether you like something or not. There's plenty of bad movies that I like. There's plenty of good movies that I don't like. You know, like I don't really like The Godfather. You know, I think it's cool, but like I'm not gonna watch it again. I have no particular attachment whatsoever because that's just not my kind of cinema. And like, you know, taste is very different than the paradigm of like bad and good. You know, ultimately is kind of what I'm getting at. And that often gets confused, which is why like I think it is very frustrating that when it's very frustrating to see like music criticism and film criticism, people taking umbrage with like their opinion for reasons that are like, well, I liked it. And the way that I see it, it's like, well, that wasn't why he reviewed it. He's not reviewing. He didn't give this album a bad review because like he's attacking you. You can like it. You have every right to like it. This particular reviewer just did not agree that it was of a particular caliber. And you know, I not that I'm placing total trust in public opinion on consensus, but at the same time it's like, yeah, exactly. You if you mostly disagree with the consensus, then there's no reason to, you know, partake in. There's no reason to put that much emotional weight on like a Metacritic score. You know, I can guarantee you this game has a lower score than I would put it. Or actually, this game has a lower score than I would put it, and there are some Katamari games that have a higher score than I would give them, right? And so it's more just like at the same. You also gotta while saying that there's a place for bad art, there should also be like a place for art criticism. You know, like it's gotta be, you gotta have both poles. You know what I mean? Like the Earth has like the North Pole and the South Pole. If it just had the North Pole, the whole world would kind of crumble. I don't know. I'm just kind of like rambling here at this point about like my opinion on the whole on like art criticism and stuff. I think it's very valuable, but it's also important to like understand your personal relationship with like music criticism, like especially in music. I'm gonna use music as like the thing because like that's where I have the most experience. There is like what I don't like about music criticism is that like they're often swayed by like trends, but I think largely it's worth considering. You know what I mean? Like I don't in music criticism, I don't really like that there is a tendency. We're still getting the ripple effect from like what I like to call punk orthodoxy, which is that like post like 1980s music criticism, like from 1980s and onward, music criticism largely was like, if you're not alt or if you're not punk or if you're not like rock, like you're not as worth. Like this isn't something that is worth appraising as much. And like we well into like the 2010s and even till now, like there's the general attitude of like indie being like, this is the thing. Indie's the thing, and we like indie because it's independent, and we like it because it's unsullied from like corporations or whatever. Which is fine. I like indie as much as the next guy, but you know, I don't necessarily think that, you know, Wilco's albums or Modest Mouse or all these what they call the pitchfork darlings, I think that a lot of them are, you know, just because a lot of them have the reputation that they do because of this like sort of punk orthodoxy. And so where is there a place for folks who are more into the polish, the slick, you know? Well, that being said, that's like my umbrage with it. That being said, you can't deny that like we live in a, you know, paradigm that we can't necessarily be blind to. So music criticism, while it is a reflection ultimately of like what's going on, and of course music criticism is always just going to be taste, right? You know, I have a very different taste than Anthony Fantano, but he's like the face of music criticism, and I'll always be like an Anthony Fantano, like maybe not, I don't know him personally, I don't know his personal life, but like his at least music opinions and his place in music criticism as like a forefront of it, I'll be respectful of it forever, because I think that his attitude toward music is not necessarily one of like, well, this is what I like, so this was good. It's one of like analysis of texture, analysis of composition, analysis of lyricism, and which are not like really, lyricism is not as important to me as it is for like most people, right? But you know, he has a methodical and analytical approach to you know, saying why this particular thing isn't that good, you know, and why this particular thing is good, you know. As with anything, like, you got to defend it. You got to defend, like, what, if you're going to put it out in the world and put an opinion, you have to be ready to be like, if you're trying to be a music critic with some clout, let's say, or some influence, you have to be ready to defend why you believe that, and he does it pretty well, I would say. You know, it's never, I never come out of a review of his being like, well, that doesn't make sense, you know, I can't understand that. It is great that he's translated with his opinion with strong conviction, and I think that ultimately is like what I'm trying to get at, is like, share your opinion about the music, because it shows that you care. Actually, you care about the music, and I think music is something worth caring about. For if you're, you know, I kind of don't. That's why like a sort of quote unquote let people enjoy things attitude can be harmful to art, because if you're not sharing your feelings about the art, well then, how can the art improve? How can the art blossom? How can it get better? You know, to create an environment in public discourse that explicitly discourages opinions and criticism is really a recipe for artistic stagnation. And my favorite music was never a result of musical stagnation. You know, my favorite music is a result of, here's what's happening in music, how can we make it better? And that's often what I treasure in music. My favorite albums are, I should do like on Tuesdays, I should do like a favorite albums, like, I should make a Topsters or something, or do like a favorite albums tier list. But some of my favorite albums from like across the range of genres, like Daft Punk's Discovery, or you know, Steely Dan's Asia, Yes's Close to the Edge, To Pimp a Butterfly by Kendrick Lamar, what else are some of my favorites? Songs in the Key of Life by Stevie Wonder. Voodoo by D'Angelo. All of these albums that are my favorite albums, it's like they all have that one thing in common. It's that they pushed the medium forward. That they all innovated in some kind of way, both in music as a whole, but also in the artist's own like catalog, in their own discography. You see for Stevie Wonder, for example, like the evolution from Fulfilling Us First Finale to Songs in the Key of Life is a massive leap. There's like obviously a continuity there, but the leap is just like it's staggering on that record, both in terms of like Songs in the Key of Life scale, but also the technology that was on there, the songwriting techniques, the arranging techniques, and like that's something that I think is very important. And the only way that we can really do that is if we value what people have to say about music, what people want to do, and what want to say, and what folks expect out of the direction of music at large. And if we create an environment where folks are always wanting more, folks are always wanting something different, I think that incentivizes artists to really think outside of the box and improve art as a whole. And this is true for the music industry. Some of the best music these days are some of the best movies these days are the movies that are doing it different. And some of the movies that people tend to not like these days are the ones that are just the same movie from 10 years before in that same series or franchise, right? I really dig some of the record. Contusion is so freaking good. And that's an example of like Stevie Wonder did not have or at least in his last like 4 records before that, he did not have just like a jazz fusion instrumental in the very beginning of the album. Like that's to me it's outstanding. In sequencing, putting it right at the top, and then immediately after it is like Sir Duke, like the hit off of that record. It's like that's great. Like that's great. That's fantastic. The records that I mentioned are very nice, eclectic mix. Thank you. I try to be. That's why I really care a lot about like my music, but also like music as a medium. I care a lot about art in general. I try to like be. It's impossible to not have bias, but I try to like have a breadth of knowledge of music in order to be able to speak on it better. And I try to have a breadth because it's just the art that I love. It's the medium that I love, and I gotta do the art justice by actually like internalizing the art and understanding the history of it, and where it all goes, where it all comes from. And I think it's just important to keep yourself well versed in that, because you can have your taste, and I have my taste. In general, I'm not like super into hip hop, but like the hip hop that I do really like, I love. I'm a big old school hip hop kind of guy. I'm not super into trap. I never was. I don't think I really will be. It's just a sound that doesn't really resonate with me. But I get it, and I see where it comes from. But like in hip hop as a whole, it's like the boom bap sound is like forever. Like I cherish that, like stuff that Dilla's done. A Tribe Called Quest, MF Doom. MF Doom is my rap goat. Rest in peace to the legend. MF Doom I love. Do cousins that are different in size have different roles? No. They are all cosmetic. That's why I'm playing as this weird donut freak. Because it doesn't matter what shape I am. I love that. I gotta get crowns to get the next stage. So I'm gonna do this level. Let's see. We'll do it as fast as possible. We'll get the crowns on this. Yeah, everything in Katamari is pretty cosmetic. What's the lore on size varying? They're all related basically, right? Which is why they have a similar face, but they're just like cousins. So they could really honestly be any size, TBH, they're all just some variation of like smaller than 10 centimeters, right? Like canonically. In stages they can appear like as different sizes. So it seems in the lore that like for example, like that cousin that we just rolled up, she's way bigger than like my cousin is right now. I guess the lore is they can really be any size they want, but they have like a base size, and the prince's like base size is like 5 centimeters. It's said to be 5 centimeters. I guess lore wise, since they're spiritual beings, they can shift to anything, but their like default shape is just a result of like, I don't know, however their parents made them. Assuming that they're cousins, their parents would be the king's or queen's siblings, So I don't know. I don't really know how that works. I would love an answer from the official Bandai Namco account. You caught me rambling. Caught me rambling about music. I did not get any crowns. It's too bad. Nah, I'm not gonna get it. Yeah, I'll try another one and get crowns on that one. I gotta get 15 crowns to advance, which is one clever way to increase replayability. I gotta get 3 more crowns. No, that was king tokens. I have to get 5 more crowns, it seems. Well, since we got the king tokens, let's roll some gacha. Let's roll some gacha, shall we? Let's go over to the king here and see what we can get. See? Ooh, a new face. New expression, a little wave. Is that a fear? Or like shock? A little dance, little tiger pose. Or crane pose or whatever. I don't know. I don't know what that would be. Where should we go next? Let's do it as fast as possible one. Because I think I know where the crowns are on the stage. Kachan! 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 Soft Kachan, warm Kachan. Ugh. We'll skip this. Where are the crowns on this stage? I'll find them. I will try not to beat this level so fast. I should not. You know what? We're trying. What? I didn't mean to leave. Gotcha. I'm gonna do this again because I messed up. Steven Wonder is so good. Steven Wonder is really good. I'm glad that I could like insert that because that is like literally one of my all-time favorite records ever. Songs in the Key of Life. If you ever had to listen to one album and be like, listen to these songs and my stream's kind of like buffering a little bit, it looks like. Sorry, that's why I paused. If there was one album where you'd be like, you could only listen to this and use this to write songs from, it would be that one. The stream may be buffering. I think I have like, I'll be honest, I don't have like the best internet connection. They don't even have fiber where I'm at. Just like, if they did, I would be on that. and get some fiber optic connections, but sadly they don't. They only have typical cable, whatever it is. I don't really know too much about network infrastructure, but whenever they get fiber in my area, you know I'd be on that. You keep getting ads every 5 minutes. I apologize for that. I did not know that that's what YouTube does. Is play an ad every 5 minutes. YouTube ads are something else. No, it's all good, buddy. Welcome back. Welcome back. Yeah, dude. I was just talking about Stevie. I really, really do love Stevie. So much. Stevie has become kind of my my benchmark for like, is this a good composition, you know, for pop at least, because I think he's got great pop compositions. He knows how to make pop, man. He knows how to make pop music, and it's just like great. There's some Stevie that I don't like though. Like I don't really like I Just Called to Say I Love You. I think it's an okay song. It's not my favorite by any means, but again, that's more of a taste thing. I don't think it's a bad song by any means. I don't think it's a bad song. We're gonna do this one again. We're gonna do As Large as Possible again, because I want to get the cousins. We're gonna skip this, John. We're gonna skip this, John. How'd you know I was from Philly? What Johns do you want at Wawa? I try to be open as possible with music. There's a lot I still don't understand, but would like to. You like Victor Wooten's idea about music being I should have waited till you finished typing before reading it. My bad. Just Jazz, thank you for your service. Thank you for asking your local coffee shop to add the 6-7 song to their playlist. You are doing the Lord's work. And if I ever share a stage with Victor Wooten, I have only you to thank. I'm folding on this stage, though. For real, I'm folding. You like Victor Wooten's idea about music being a language? I believe that's exactly why some music doesn't sound that great to some. Yeah, absolutely. I 100% subscribe to that idea. While academically and like linguistically, music is not like a spoken language. It's a language in the sense that there is a preset like expectation for how one should sound, like a very baseline. It doesn't have to be like, oh, you gotta learn your jazz lines. You gotta know how to talk, which is just and you're saying like we have to learn the language of music we don't understand so we can fully appreciate it. 100% agree. 100% agree. And this is why, like I was saying, what your marker, culturally speaking, like you have to have like, what is the marker of this style? What is the benchmarks of this style? And how have the people who have spoken this language spoken it before? And what is expected, right? Because if someone says like, in the language analogy, if someone starts speaking gibberish to you, you're not going to understand what they're saying, because it's gibberish to you. It doesn't, what you're saying doesn't like, it's not, it's nonsensical, right? That example I was using earlier of like it's like an old internet video of like this white guy. He's like, I gotta make how come there's no rap music that caters to a white middle class? This guy, he had no ill intention or anything. I think he absolutely was not, trying to be an iconoclast of some kind, but he just didn't understand the language. He didn't understand the language of rap music. He didn't understand the language of hip hop. And so, like, trying to interface with it, he was not really creating, language that somebody who is a hip hop head would understand. You know what I mean? That's why hip hop, is such an interesting thing to look at today, because it is the current cultural paradigm, but also it has a very strong musical culture. It has a very strong identity of like, well, this rap is corny and this rap is not. Well, what makes it corny? Like, that's something that only if you speak the language of hip hop that you can really understand. Why is Logic corny to some people, and Kendrick is not? Kendrick is not corny. Why is Drake even corny? Like, these days in the current atmosphere, why do some people think he's corny, right? And I think you're absolutely right. It is a language, and in every way, really, we can think about a language being a language. So, I think, admittedly, when I was like younger, that's why I try to be so appreciative of like all styles of music now, and like really try to get it. I'm obviously more enamored with some than others, but when I was trying to when I grew up with in the particular environment that I didn't really like a lot of the hip hop that I was hearing, because I just didn't get it. Now that I am much more familiar with a lot of what's going on, like the history of it and like the conventions and like what's normally expected, I can listen to a lot of that with that in mind and be much more appreciative of like rhyme scheme and like the way that like some people play with rhythm. They drag, they rush, they push and pull, much in the way that in jazz, that's like that aspect of rhythm is like a very important and used a lot to great effect. I love here like when rappers purposely drag the beat to create this like there's a sense of forward motion that they're creating deliberately with that, and just understanding that I think is so key to like being a music appreciator, because that's not a skill that like we're that we come out of the womb with. We don't come out of the womb being able to appreciate music. We can hear it, we can listen to it, but like, how do we like interface with it as art? You know what I mean? Because you can put on a movie in the background, but you're not appreciating the movie. It's just background noise. It serves a function. I was close. I gave up. I just can't. There's another crown. I can't even get this one. Whatever. I'm sorry for everything. I failed you all. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Whatever. Victor Wooten is really a goat of music pedagogy. I really like him. He's been very nice the couple times that I have met him. And he is he knows what's up when it comes to music. And I generally agree with his perspective on music. He talks a lot about how like there's no wrong notes, and I really like that because it's true. It's true. Which is which is like why I think I'm so passionate about this idea of intentionality and like motive. Like, you got to be intentional with like when you improvise. Like, you got to be intentional about every note you play. You got to mean every note you play, because you're not just playing the note. You're saying something behind that note. And when you compose, you got to be super intentional with the way that you compose. You got to be writing, stuff that like you're trying to write. You got to be saying the things that you really mean. And that's not to say that like when you write lyrics, like they have to be drawn from personal experience. That's not what that means at all. It means that like the underlying message that you're trying to convey through with the story, not literally the words that you're saying, but like why you're saying them. Like you got to be intentional about that. It can't just be, well, it just happened. You know what I mean? And you can create space for like that. Right, you can be like, it was on purpose for, it was a purpose of like, it was on purpose that I was trying to create space for like this randomness, right? But that in and of itself is intentionality. So intentionality of all kinds is like what I really cherish in not just music but art as a whole. What's my first musical memory? It's a very good question. A memory as it relates to like, I can't even. I'll be honest. I kind of don't. Ironically, okay, the earliest memory that I can think of, probably right now, it may be not the earliest ever that I can probably recall, but what I can recall right now. I listened. I it's not even that early because there's earlier stuff. So I'm trying to like, my brain gets all confused because like I moved from the Philippines to the U.S., but there was a couple times where I went back and forth, and I don't really remember what came first. I'll tell you one that's like early, maybe not memory first, but I'll tell you, it's pretty early. When I was really young, Windows XP came with. I was very into the computer. Like I was very enamored by the computer, even as an early age. I mean, we had a laptop, and it came bundled with. Some songs, right? Like Windows XP, that particular edition had like songs already on the hard drive. And Windows Media Player, right? When you start Windows Media Player, there's like visualizers, right? They'll create visuals that dance to the music. One of the probably earliest musical memories is like hearing the David Byrne song that came pre-bundled in Windows XP, a song called Like Humans Do, and it was like a single edit of that, and just me like listening to it like all the time, because it just came pre-bundled with Windows XP. It was just already on the computer. I didn't have to download it or anything. It was already on there. I would just listen to it all the time, watch the visualizer, and like dance. I'd be like dancing, and this must have been like when I first came here, the first time. So maybe it wasn't my earliest, but it's very, I can think of it very fondly. It's very vivid. Yeah, I think that was my first musical memory, was the listening to that David Byrne song. And that was before I would even get into Talking Heads, which I love the Talking Heads now, but I don't really know who he was at the time. And my parents weren't really into like Talking Heads or anything. They just knew that one song. It's a great memory, right? I just, I think for as long as I can remember, music has always been a part of my life, which is like awesome. Like I really cherish that. The fact that that's been the case is music being so important to me. Well, it's partly because it was important to my family. Like my parents were big music fans. They were really into to music, and like bought lots of records. We had lots of CDs. Maybe not the biggest collection, but we definitely had a sizable amount, without a doubt. I'm not big enough for that crown. Are you serious? Like I can also remember like just asking for specific CDs to be popped into the car CD player, because there were like some records that I was like really into. And then eventually, at some point around that time, even maybe not around that time, but like I think maybe when I was like 6 or 7. That wasn't a joke. That was for real. Like I had learned how to like burn CDs, so I'd like make mixtapes off of like the various MP3s that we'd have, and burn them to a CD, rewritable CD, and then write in permanent marker like what the mixtape was called. And at the time, what I would have been really into was like mostly my parents' music, which composed largely of 2000 late 90s, early 2000s alternative rock and Filipino rock music. So that particular era holds a lot of importance to my life. The new metal stuff and like Linkin Park means a lot to me. Because I just heard it growing up. Some Disturbed. A little bit of Pearl Jam. One Crown. That's not nearly enough for me to advance. What are you kidding me? You kidding me? This is faster, so I'll give it a satellite. Yes, dude. Let's see. I got Kuro. I really like Kuro. Is one of my favorite cousin designs. He's like black and red, and in the older games, or starting from the second game and onward, up until like the remakes, he had 2 antennas. But I guess they took one away. Let's see what else. We'll go back to the American frontier and get some gold here. Oh yeah. Yeehaw! Mix it up a little bit. Get some cowboy action going. Yeah. The commercial, I mean, that's just like all that lovely commercial radio music. That's just what was on. That was what I heard, and you know, probably it's not something I would listen to for recreation these days. But whenever it does come on, I'm like, wow, look how far I've come. Look, I'm old now. The world has turned and left me here, and I'm still the same old me. I know I'm on the younger side, but I am not prepared to turn 25 in April. Like, that is a frightening prospect. But time marches on. And when death smiles at us, all we can really do is to smile back. Who said that? Marcus Aurelius? Someone like that. Not Marcus Aurelius. Who? I don't know. Was it Marcus Aurelius? I don't even know. You've been recently listening to the like 90s R&B house music and all that commercial house hip hop. Yes, yes, that's awesome. Like Boys to Men for that 90s R&B, SWV. And who else? Who else you've been listening to? Who in the house? Especially the hip hop, like sort of the Chicago house before it kind of became, before it kind of left the hip hop world. I have an old soul. Yeah, I like it that way though. I would rather have an old soul than, you know, believe that I'll be young forever. I gotta accept it now. But I don't know. I think because like I grew up with like music that was not necessarily, well, that's not true. I grew up with music that was contemporaneous to the time period, which of course like will fossilize in your brain, you know, as it often does, and your brain just naturally is like, oh, this reminds me of like when I was a child, so I like it more, you know. So maybe that's what it is. I just like the old stuff, you know. I don't really know what it could be though. I'm just talking. It's all conjecture, as anything really is. Nothing can be certain. I gotta get 2 more crowns. That's a lot of crowns. You know what? I'm gonna do a little race. We'll do a little race here. Is that it? Is this it? No, that's not it. We're gonna do a race. That pirate like map thing has a little bit of that like bossa. Or not, it's not a bossa thing. It's a samba thing. The kind of rhythm. The little tambourine. What do they call it? Tambourine? Repinique? No, that's the snare drum. And the bass drum on 2 and 4. Oh, I love Brazilian music so much. I'm not a big fan of like Brazilian funk, but like the modern style, which they call funk, which has nothing to do with the rhythm and blues funk. They just call it funk. That's something else I have to understand is the newer styles of music that are burgeoning on the scene, funk, and its derivative styles. Something I'm up to now relatively unfamiliar with. Ooh. This is my cousin. Drive. He's a car. Chicken Eater, if you're still here, explain. I can't explain that one. I know that you would like an explanation as to why do because you've asked like, why are these cousins all different shapes? Now we have a cousin who's a car. What do we have a cousin who's a car? I can't explain that. Maybe I don't want to. Maybe I never want to know. I gotta get a new chair. Average Otaku, thank you so much for tuning in. First time stream chatter, want to see you find me through my Katamari cover. How serendipitous as I'm playing this new Katamari game right now. I absolutely love the guitar tuning. Do I use Neural DSP? Yes, in fact I do. I believe on that cover I use Archetype Nolly as my amp sim for the main distorted tone. There's some tones that I may have been using Archetype Plenty for. Those are like my main 2 for rock tones. Archetype Plenty I think would be great for the mid-game stuff, so I often use it for like the leads and mid-gain stuff, and then Archetype Nolly, I'll really use it for the high-gain stuff, like the main rhythm. Since that was like a gent-ish cover, like that's like that's what I use for the main genty riffs. That's not a coincidence. It's fate is what that is. The fact that you use Archetype Nolly, it was meant to be. It was preordained. But yes, it is Archetype Nolly. I still think and maintain that it is the best for like high gain tones like that in modern metal. I think if you're specifically doing like a Gojira thing, use the Gojira one. Because they tend to drive it a little bit more, and we'll go for like a chunky sound. But if you're you know, doing the modern metal gent thing, I still think Architectonale is the best. I mean, that's what like Dan Brownstein is using still, you know, and he produces like all the big modern metal records, you know, or a lot of them, not all of them. I think Buster, older home, also uses Nolly still, if he isn't using his own plugin. You just thought of something funny. MC Hammett. If Kirk Hammett was mixed with MC Hammer. I can't touch this metal version. That would be... I would like to see that. Doesn't sound like I would enjoy it very much, but it'd be an awesome time nonetheless. Go to ESP LTD M100 FM with the additional John Petrucci pickups, the Crunch Lab and Liquefier. Yo, those are his his older pickups from like the 2000s. How do those sound? I have a guitar that has I have the JP. I forgot what it's called. JP6. No, whatever the brown one is. And I have illuminators in those. I already forgot what it... JP27? JP25? JP15. That's what it is. I was like blanking on what my guitar model name is. I have a JP15 that has illuminators in it. And those sound pretty nice. Yeah, they're pretty good. I should hope so. They're some great pickups. You've done some. Took you forever to get them because you're not from America. I can only imagine. I have friends in the Philippine music scene that I'll tend to visit every time I go back to visit, and they often tell me of the struggles of getting that equipment. Not just because it takes forever, but also because of the import taxes and tariffs and whatnot that hike up the price for something that would be affordable here. Becomes like nearly impossible to get, you know, because of a poor exchange rate or whatever. But depending on where you're from, that may not be as much of a problem. You got them way before tariffs existed. That's good. I recognize that I am fortunate that I live here where that's not as big of a concern for me. So I'm very thankful for that, because I can't imagine. I would like not to experience that if I could help it. I'd love to hear like some recordings on that setup. I'm very interested to hear like what that actually sounds like. That sounds like an interesting combo, for sure. So I've never actually I've never actually played a guitar that had the Crunch Labs and the liquefiers in them. I assume liquefier in the neck. If I have a Discord, throw some audio, man. All right. Here's what I'm trying to open so I had a Discord for a while. That was like open to Patreon folks, but I kind of wanted to stop. I don't know if I'm gonna pick Patreon back up, so I might just reconfigure that Discord to be like, oh, here's an invite only. Just invite everybody, because I didn't really like that. Yeah, and I guess I'm not really into the I didn't really want to do the Patreon thing anymore. Just like I feel it's unfair for me to like keep asking people for money, and I just didn't do when I'm like not doing anything. So I haven't like actually I've just paused payments for the last like 4 or 5 months because I was like I'm not doing anything. It's not fair for me to like keep asking for money. I might just end up closing it at this point because so I was like, there's no point. It's not even. It's not a huge part of my income anyway, so just no reason to do all that. I'd rather just be more inclusive of everybody rather than like make content that's like that exclusive. You know, that's just me. That's just me. Sorry, I was looking at the chat. I got a notification. I did not see it in the chat. In the chat. Oh, there it is. Tell me, how much of a fan are you of games like Hollow Knight? You're gonna hate to hear this. I apologize in advance. Not a fan of Metroidvanias like at all. And I'm not again like that's not to say that they're bad at all. Like I've never played them, but I'd like to give if you know what one day I will give Hollow Knight a go. I will give Hollow Knight a proper go. But I kind of am not that into Metroidvanias and the Hollow Knight series as a whole for the same reason that I'm not into like Souls-likes. And I know that they're like different styles, but like there's like a sort of similarity there in the way that like enemy and like battle design is sort of like constructed, and that doesn't really appeal to me in exactly the that doesn't really appeal to me. You know, I am much more into like either story driven action adventure games or like Bethesda style RPGs even. Yeah, you're right. The difficulty isn't for everybody, and you know, I think challenge and difficulty absolutely needs to be a part of like video games for there to be stakes, but there, you know, I think that there is a threshold that I have of like it stops being like less it becomes less of an achievement that I want to complete and more of I'm getting a little discouraged, you know. I'm getting a little worn down. I don't know if I want to keep going anymore. Yeah, it's exactly. It stops being fun and more like a chore, and that's just like me, you know. And the idea of like having to running into like a place and then not having an item I need, but knowing where it is, so I have to run back and grab the item that will open that part up for me, and then like a series of challenges unfolding. It just seems like a little tedious, needlessly, for me. But I understand that that's like the genre. That's just the style of game it is. That's totally cool, you know. But you know, I also want to recognize that it's not really me. You know, you did like 50 tries on the final boss of Silksong. It was tough. I'll bet it was tough. And congrats on that. Like that's an achievement. That's a proper achievement that you should be patting yourself on the back for. Because like I could not do that. I legitimately could not do that. The music is something else. I gotta get into that because I've heard some of the music and I'm like, okay, yeah, this is pretty cool. This is like something unique, you know. And I'll have to check. I like to give games like a fair shake before, saying anything, um, you know, or before being too condemning, right? I'm not gonna condemn it and be like, this is a bad game, but because I never played it, I'm just a little hesitant to even like try at the moment. I really like I do like roguelikes a lot, so I'm not a stranger to the sense of like overcoming a challenge through like an iterative process, but I'm not sure if it's exactly like an applicable comparison. And there was like I have Slay the Spire in my Steam library, and I wasn't sure if I would like Slay the Spire, but like I started playing it like a couple months ago, and I was like, oh, this is actually something that I'm really interested. So, who knows? Maybe when I actually like start playing Hollow Knight, like I'll be like, oh, I actually do like Hollow Knight. I am glad for the Hollow Knight fans that the sequel has finally come out. I'm glad for them. Do I speak Tagalog? Yes, kind of. Well, okay, I do, but I have kind of an accent, and it's like one of those things where if you're in an environment where if you don't use something, eventually like you'll start to like get a little rusty. And so the last time I went to the Philippines, like I made an active effort to, like when I was like interacting with the people, I made an active effort to like just start speaking it like as much as I could. And just doing that over and over again and being in that environment and being surrounded by it, hearing it all the time, I think my accent was better for sure. But because I'm here, I really have like no reason to speak it outside of like at home. But even then I speak English at home, despite my parents speaking Tagalog to me, right? So I'm out of practice, I will say. But I can speak it. I think that's a better way to do it. I can speak it. Chicken Eater, I know you know 7 languages, but do you know Tagalog? There's a pal of yours who's taken upon themselves to cover every song from Hollow Knight and Silk Song. They've done all of the originals from the Hollow Knight, and now they're doing Silk Song. That is very commendable. What a monumentous undertaking. I hope that they follow through, which I'm sure they will, considering they've done Hollow Knight. I mean, that's crazy. That's an insane feat. It's very impressive. It sounds amazing. Drop the link. Drop the link in chat if you can. I'm interested to check that out. You plan on learning at least 25 languages? I hope you do. I've ever heard of them called RIS. No, I've not heard of them. But now that you've said that, I will change that so that I will have heard of them. RIS, huh? Or rice. I don't know. What languages do you want to learn, Chicken Eater? I know you're learning you've learned at least some Norwegian. In terms of like the VGM, the video game music community, I only know really a handful of folks. And most of the folks that I know are like either the big ones or in the specifically video game jazz niche community. You want to learn Japanese? I think you would pick it up pretty easily. When I was studying Japanese, like I was getting really into it. I really liked it. It's not easy, but it's like it makes sense, you know. Like you could pick it up. And I'm sure you'd be good at like pronouncing Japanese too. You tried a bit of Russian? Russian is hard. Russian is hard. Because in Russian you have to... it's not like in English where noun... Like you have to inflect, I think, every noun based on like its function. I could be wrong about that, but like there's noun cases. Which is like... a feature of Latin, but... Not many modern languages still have that. You hear Latin is dead? In the sense that like there's no native speakers, but it's still very much like alive in the sense that like content is being made in Latin. People speak it, you know. Like Chicken Eater is a aspiring polyglot. I did also want to like learn Latin for a while. It's worth learning, I think, because it's cool. But also like you can read like ancient documents in the original languages. I think that's pretty neat. If I had like a million, if I was not a lazy guy, and really like wanted to do something, like I would love to also learn a bunch of languages. Like I've tried definitely to learn lots of languages. Like obviously like I mentioned that I was learning Japanese. Like actively studying it. No, I no longer actively study it, but I'm trying to learn by osmosis right now by just sucking in various Japanese media and like trying to understand it without subtitles, which is pretty much like the best way to learn a language, to be fair, is the immersion, as they call it. But I've not put much effort into that as of late, and I'm just kind of like chilling. You know what I would love to learn though? Like I don't think I want to. If I was gonna like learn languages, I don't think I would be trying to learn like whatever's like popular right now, or whatever the most spoken languages in the world are. Like I really would want to learn languages that would be of importance to me. Like I'm half Chinese, and I would love to be able to speak not Mandarin, but my Chinese side's like particular dialect of Chinese, which is Hokkien. I would love to learn Hokkien for sure. And maybe like some other Filipino dialect, like Ilocano or Ilonggo or Bisaya. Well, yeah. If your intent of learning languages is being able to traverse the world and being able to speak in some kind of language that a local population would understand. Then yeah, I think learning Russian, you know, would probably get you further than only learning Ukrainian. You know, both Tagalog and Bisaya. It says Bisao, as in like Guinea-Bissau, but I know it's supposed to say Bisaya. Yeah, because your parents are Bisaya, right? My parents are only Tagalog speaking, really. So I have no dialect history. You want to learn German, Portuguese, and Japanese, and possibly Mandarin. Those are good languages to want to learn. Especially Portuguese. So much good music in Portuguese that, like, you could sing. Brazilian Portuguese is such a musical language. So beautiful to hear. It's very soft on the ears. German is also, like, a great language to learn. And if you know English, I feel like German is relatively not too difficult to pick up. Yeah, German is I would love to learn German as well. Although if you go to Germany and try to speak Germany, they'll just probably speak back to you in English. Just because they see that you are not a native German speaker. Oh, to go to Berlin and order currywurst in German. I gotta make a video. Asian guy orders currywurst in perfect German. I think that would be a hit. Asian guy shocks German currywurst stand owner when he orders currywurst in perfect high German. Hochdeutsch. I should probably learn Mandarin though. I think that'd be nice, but it definitely would help me a lot. Indian? You mean like well, you mean Hindi? Yes. I feel like if you're gonna be like, if that's your intent, is like, I want to learn every language so I can travel the world and not have a difficulty encountering. Yeah, Hindi would be beneficial just because it's the national language, and I believe that most people in India speak Hindi, although not all. Just because, like, much like most places in the world, there's many different languages within the one country. Hindi. If you wanted to learn like Indian languages so you could talk to like literally everybody, you probably would learn Hindi, Tamil, Malayalam, and Telugu, I guess. I think most people speak one of those at least. Most people in India speak like more than 3 languages, by the way. Like, it's kind of nuts. Like, most of them can speak like at minimum 3 languages. Ich liebe dich. Yes, ich liebe dich. My German pronunciation is spot on. We're gonna roll some yokai. Get yokai in the house. I've got yokai in my house. Whoa, it's a dark one. Oh, look at this umbrella fella. These are some mysterious creatures, these yokai. I'm actually shivering in my timbers right now. It's dark, it's spooky. We gotta get some of these will-o'-the-wisps. I love this song too, because it's Kenji. I think his name is Kenji Nanuma. He's the guy who sings "The Moon and the Prince" and "Disco Prince" in the older games. If liebe dich. Ooh. I love his voice so much. Kenji Nanuma, I think. I believe that's it. Now we're rolling up children. Monk statues. Oh, there's a scary statue there. What was that? What's the deal with that? Oh, nice. The music in this game is just like, they knocked it out of the park. The music selections in this game, like, I think what's great is that Yu Miyake is on the soundtrack. Like, he's not the head composer, but he's got a couple songs on here, and like his contribution is just like big. It's like the most Katamari sounding soundtrack in a very, very long time, you know. Because the Touch My Katamari soundtrack was great, but it's not, you know, it had a different touch to it. No pun intended. You know, I never got into like learning languages specifically. I got more into like linguistics, as in like the study of languages. Like that interests me, to be honest, a lot more than actually like learning the language. Which is ironic, because I should learn the languages if I'm going to talk about linguistics, but I'm really, really interested in linguistics, and it's so funny that we were talking about like music as a language. Like that's very, that must be why I was really interested in linguistics, because, you know, I really like learning about like what makes a language tick, why does a language sound like that, where does it come from, what the language family that it's a part of, you know, why did certain sounds evolve the way that this did when a language in the similar family evolved in a different way. You know, why is the orthography like that, where F and V in German make the same sound phonologically, you know. Yeah, Navajo is like really hard because it just, the language is just not, it doesn't work the same way that English does, or really any Indo-European language for that matter. The First Nations languages are so interesting to look at, because like Hopi has a different conception of like how time works than we do, you know. Aztec languages, or they inflect verbs like they inflect words in a particular way that doesn't really, you know, map to any other language really. And by Aztec languages, I'm of course referring to Nahuatl, that language. They have that sound in that language, Nahuatl. Nahuatl. It's like, what? I didn't know you could do that. I didn't know you could make that sound with your mouth. Like, that's crazy. Nahuatl. You know, it's like you're making an L and a T, but like, and you're making an L and a T sound, but like you're blowing air through it. Like, what a unique sound. I am really interested in languages that have like really unique phonology. Like Nawak. There's a new thing that Duolingo added. What was the new? You've been slowing down on language learning due to the new thing Duolingo added. What is that? Is there like a update of some kind that doesn't allow you to Oh, like you're learning chess on Duolingo? Chess is a great game to learn. Nice. Yeah. So many of my friends are like chess.com types. Like they have like relatively above average elos, and they'll like play other people on chess.com. Like they know all the openings. Yeah, they teach all that. They also teach music now. I remember seeing that pretty recently. They teach music theory and stuff, and like how to play like piano and whatnot, and the keyboard. That stuff, you got to check that stuff out. They teach math. Well, I don't really care about math like that. I really dislike the school subject known as mathematics. I dislike learning it. I recognize the value that it has, of course, because everything is math. I mean, music is math, but I think all the calculus is too annoying for me, and I'm very bad at mental math. The music was just piano, yeah, which makes sense. If I was going to teach music theory to somebody who didn't know anything about music, and they were like, "Hey, what's an instrument I play?" I would tell them to play piano, because that's really, piano is honestly the instrument that is like the one to learn. Like if you had to pick one. You know, I say that while I'm a guitarist, but if I really could choose, like I would trade what I know on guitar for piano. It's much more valuable on there, in my opinion. Plus, like a lot of the music concepts just make more sense on the piano since they're all laid out there. The guitar is like it's like you're playing 5 pianos or 6 pianos all at the same time. So it's not as easy to grasp in the Stone Age. We got some cavemen. We got Fred Flintstone out here. I really do love like in the background you see like a couple other cousins, like well I can't see them anymore. You remember every major key except F. Every major key in what sense? Like the notes in every major key? Every major is like F. F is just one flat, B flat. That's the only flat in F. On piano? Well, yeah, you just start on F, and then instead of B natural, it's B flat. You can't remember where F is. F is before. You see how there's like the 2 black keys and the 3 black keys. F is the key right before the 3 black keys. It's the one that looks like C, but it's not C, because C is the one behind the 2 keys, the 2 black keys. F is the one behind the 3 black keys. That tells you everything you guys need to know about like how I orient myself on the piano. I use the black keys as my guide for like where everything is. The 2 black keys I'll always remember as like, oh, the 2 black keys, that's where C roughly is, and C is before that first of that pair. That's the Prince, that's L'amour and Norn. Ancient coin. It's just rock. I like that. This is really like a Flintstones house. They got the Rock fridge. They got bills that are just made of rocks. Barney. Yabba dabba doo. They teach single note songs, like for the first some lessons they teach single note songs, like Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. They teach you how to do that. That's nice. I think that's neat, especially to just teach you like the idea of like scales and how they work. That's nice. I think honestly, every musician, regardless of what instrument you play, should learn piano. Because it's I used it too early. Everything relates to piano. At the end of the day, everything in music relates to piano. Yeah, it just makes the most sense to me, personally. IMA show, the piano for music theory. This is the Haniwa level where we're rolling Haniwas, the clay dolls. Ooh, maybe I'm too small to get up here, but you're on like the third section. You finally got to black keys, yeah. But once you get that over with, like I think we're pretty set. The sections are long. I guess they have to be if they're entirely self-taught. I figured it might be faster with a teacher, but I don't know. There's just I'm thinking out loud. They taught scales? Oh, they should. I would be surprised if they didn't. Because that's what the theory stuff hinges on, you know? Everything is around that. Everything is kind of focused on that. That's very funny, the way that they've made the Stone Age, everything's like bone. We have these little fire starters, these primitive fire starters over here. Some rice over here. I love rice. In another life, I could have been just farming rice. You find it interesting to use poppy music to test after a series of lessons? I think that's honestly the best way to teach music, because you have to have like some kind of reference to tie everything back to, you know? I always hate it whenever I see like teaching happening and they're not teaching, the kids are not learning, or like the people are not learning like what they want to learn, you know what I mean? They have to learn like a Bach, you know, which is like, that's fine. I think that's no diss against Bach, but you know, if you're learning music, you got to tie it back to like what you actually care about, like what is the music that's important to you. And I think there's some important music that it's important to tie everything back to like the actual music that you care about, you know, and not just what is quote unquote the standard to actually like teach out of. You know, you gotta actually care about the music that you're making. So I guess that's their way of like tying it back to like something relevant in the modern day. Oh my gosh, that's my father. He's looking dapper. Bask in this nature. Yes. You got a 1 minute unskippable ad. That is insanely bad luck. I apologize for that. I don't know how to make that stop. Luckily, I didn't say anything at all in that time period that was important. I literally just like repeated myself over and over, as I often do. Just saying, like, you gotta tie it back to like some familiar stuff, you know. Look at the queen with her little bow and hairpiece. Damn, that's a big ass coin. You got like 6 or 7 ads within the past 10 minutes. That's unfortunate. Six, 1. There's maybe like 6 or 7 levels left in this game. I think I will call it here. No, we're not. We're like in the middle of the game right now. Yeah. I'll call it there for Katamari. Oh my gosh! I'm sitting up and like, I've been like slumped in my chair, sitting on my tailbone. And then like readjusting, I'm just like to shock up my system. Oh my goodness. Anyways, that's Katamari for today. W stream, thank you, sir. Thank you, W chatter, chicken eater. You're a W chatter. We're gonna hold on. Yeah. I want to know what you guys think I should play. At some point, like, yeah, Katamari's fun, and I'll finish it for sure. But it would be cool to play other stuff. You know, I could play. I mean, I could play Katamari all day, right? Peak. I'll play Peak with people if I can get some folks together. I'll probably get a couple of my buddies, and we'll play on stream. I think Peak is like it's, don't take this the wrong way, but it's like Lethal Company in that, and like RV Theria, which is it's multiplayer slop. It's what I call multiplayer slop, which is, I'm not saying slop as a bad thing. Like, these games are good, but they're like a genre of game that is like proximity chat, streamer bait, like party fun time with friends, which is fun. I mean, that's why they're fun. That's why people play them. But I'm not really a fan of like the multiplayer slop genre, like especially Among Us. Like I'm never playing Among Us on stream. But I would play Peak. I would play Peak. Have I gotten Silksong yet? I think we were just talking about that earlier. I'm not going to get Silksong just because like I'm not a Hollow Knight fan, and Mage Arena would be great. Like, Mage Arena is multiplayer slop that I think I would be interested in playing. I haven't actually played it. I don't have it yet, but I think I could easily get a Mage Arena lobby going. Peak, I definitely could get that going. I know some of my friends are playing RV there yet. So one of these days on stream, I'll have my buddies pop in. Mage Arena would be a lot of fun. That'd be a lot of fun. Yeah, I think you would like Hollow Knight. You would like Hollow Knight for sure. I'm not. It's just not up my alley, really. And one of these days, when I have time, like I'll definitely play Hollow Knight, like on my own time. I don't know if I would stream Hollow Knight just because it is one of those games that's like, I think we were talking about earlier in the stream. There's games that are like really well suited to streaming, And I think that like a game that like requires me to give it so much attention. Well, not to say that Hollow Knight would require me to give it so much attention, but I just so new that like I wouldn't really be able to talk much. But we'll see. We'll see how I'm feeling. Hollow Knight ruined me, dude. Ugh. I bet. I bet. I mean, listen. It was yeah. Minecraft stream would be awesome. Like and playing on my server would be great. Um, I have a Minecraft server, which I will. I might play on. We'll see. We'll see. Um, yeah, Hollow Knight. I mean, there's a reason that everybody loves Hollow Knight, right? It's like one of the greatest games of all time. It seems. Yeah, so you'll be streaming for Goobercraft season 2, and later I'll try to tune in if I'm not busy, because I might be busy later, but I'll try to tune in. Yeah, couple of things to keep in mind. There's some. I'm gonna take another look at the store because I am curious like what is coming out. I like that Steam has this calendar thing, upcoming releases. Okay. Whenever it comes out, Subnautica 2, we're playing that. We're playing Subnautica 2 for sure when that comes out. What is upcoming on the calendar? Dungeons and Kingdoms. I don't know what that is. Umami. What is this? 3D food puzzle game. Cuckold Simulator. I can't say that. Hang Time looked interesting. Oh yeah, it came out the other day. 5 Hearts Under One Roof. I should you know, I already watched somebody play, but I want to play uh I want to play what's the name of that game? The Chinese FOV game. Uh Road to Empress. That might be funny if we do Road to Empress. Um let's see what else comes out. Abandoned Archive comes out on November 24th. But I don't know if I'll play that. Do I pumped about Metroid 4? Oh yeah, that's right. I do have a Switch too. I could stream Switch 2 games. Pumped about Metroid 4. I never got into like the Metroid Prime games at all, so I'm not super familiar with them, but Metroid Prime 4 might get me into them. We'll see. What else is coming up? One Giant Hole. What is that? Is that a game where you dig a big hole? Some party games would be cool. Lego Party with some buddies would be funny. Just like Mario Party, but the Lego version. And better than Mario Party. What do I have in my library that would be good? I got Pac-Man World 2 repack, but I don't know if that's like people are interested to watch that. Oh, there's like I'm really into Patapon 1+2 replay. I've been playing that, but like I don't know if I could talk over while I'm like hitting those button inputs. Oh my gosh, I know what I want to play. Tokyo Extreme Racer came out fully back in September, and I did not see that. Assassin's Creed. I'm not playing Assassin's Creed. No offense. Great stream. Thank you, buddy, for tuning in. I will hope to see you another stream. Thanks for tuning in. I'll be back on Monday. we will be playing Tokyo Extreme Racer. Animal Crossing. I know the update's gonna come out soon. Like that's I'm excited for. I do want to really want to play Tokyo Extreme Racer because I'm a big car guy. Well, not really, but I like racing. Papa's Pizzeria would be a lot of fun. Papa's Pizzeria and Papa's Freezeria. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, I'm just stalling for the end of the stream. Uh, yeah. Thank y'all for watching. It's been a good time. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for talking with me. Thank you for chatting. Yeah. See you guys again on Monday for Music Mondays. We'll be making some merry music. I don't know what kind of music we'll be making just yet, but we'll reconvene. Anyways, bye bye. Hope y'all have a good day.